Not long ago, my 15-year-old son Garrison held up a VHS tape he'd found in the closet. "My history teacher showed us pictures of these the other day," he joked. "I didn't know that any had survived." This comment resulted in the idea to digitize. The decades-old tape was of a wedding ceremony, specifically the nuptials of one love-struck Gary Thomas Smalley to the beautiful Erin Christine Murphy. Since we hadn't owned a VCR player for many years, I decided it was time to convert it to a DVD. In many ways, it felt like yesterday, watching Erin, escorted by her parents, walk down the aisle to my waiting hand. In other ways, our wedding felt like a lifetime ago. I don't mean that as in the old ball and chain, because I love my wife and our marriage, but it was strange to see my 23-year-old self. I was barely shaving, and yet there I stood pledging life-changing vows. I, Greg, take you, Erin, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, until death do us part. And that's when I noticed something remarkable. I replayed the scene several times to make sure I'd heard it correctly. I smiled at the realization that everything I've learned about marriage in the past 24 years, both as a husband and as a psychologist, could be summed up in two simple words, and yet I'd failed to grasp their significance when I'd said them. What are these life-changing words? To love. I'm sure you're thinking, love? That's it? That's your big revelation about the secret for a great marriage? I want my money back. But hold on. I know that you recognize the importance of love, but I'm not talking about love, the noun. My moment of revelation was hearing my very own lips vow to love Erin. This short phrase is the secret of a thriving marriage and the foundation of everything that you'll learn within this book. And the 12 secrets to a lifelong romance based on biblical concepts of how to love will rock your marriage boat because the culture has been broadcasting love lies. Society's views on love and marriage are not only false, but they can also severely harm or handicap your relationship. The toxic parts of unbiblical ideas about love are often rooted deep in the heart. Maxims such as, "your spouse will complete you," sound great as a headline, but over time false ideas result in emotional pain and relationship strain. Let me tell you a story to show what I mean. I'll never forget a special phone call I made to Erin during our engagement. I was euphoric about a fortuitous turn of events. After she answered the phone, I asked her to sit down and brace herself. Then I proudly announced that I had received official notification in the mail that I had won the big sweepstakes. Yes, indeed, Erin was preparing to marry a very rich man. I was in the running for a new car, a free luxury trip, or even $1 million. At first, Erin was speechless. I thought this would truly be any bride's dream come true, entering marriage with no financial worries. So it was no wonder the glorious news had stunned her into silence. A minute later, I didn't understand when she actually laughed out loud while I went on and on and on about how we would spend the money and what I was going to buy her. To make a long and embarrassing story short, I had fallen for a scam. Today, Erin says that when she was in nursing school, she'd had conversations that were eerily similar with the patients in the hospital's psychiatric ward. Indeed, these marketers had done a great job presenting their pitch. I wasn't able to distinguish between reality and the hope of financial independence. The winner notification sounded legitimate with all the right legal jargon. The stationery looked so authentic. The envelope even had a wax seal. I felt humiliated. Not only had I believed I was a millionaire, I had also told my entire family and bragged to many of my graduate school friends. In one day, I learned that without reading and understanding the fine print, I could easily end up sounding like a fool. When it comes to marriage, we are being scammed as well. However, it's not by some crook peddling a bogus sweepstakes. It's by the culture that we live in. We are being sold ideas about marriage that contain fine print, which sets up couples, even couples who have been married 10 years or longer, to fail.